The night was charged with anticipation, the air inside the debate hall thick with tension. A low murmur of voices filled the space as journalists, pundits, and everyday Americans fixed their eyes on the stage. Under the gleaming lights stood two podiums, one bearing the weight of history, the other, the hope of the future. Donald Trump, former president, and the face of a movement that had reshaped American politics, stood tall behind his podium. His presence was as unmistakable as ever, his iconic red tie hanging perfectly, his hands resting confidently on the edge of the podium. His supporters saw him as the bold fighter they needed in Washington, a man unafraid to tear down institutions and rebuild them in his image. His detractors saw something else entirely: chaos, unpredictability, and defiance of the norms that had once defined American democracy. On the other side of the stage stood Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States. Her posture was calm, poised, with an air of authority that came not just from her title, but from the long journey that had brought her here. She represented a different America, one that spoke to diversity, inclusion, and change. She had often been seen as the counterpoint to Trump's brashness, her calculated precision an answer to his spontaneous rhetoric. The crowd packed shoulder to shoulder, hushed as the moderators took their seats. The lights dimmed for just a moment, the silence deafening. Cameras zoomed in on both candidates, their expressions steely, each knowing what this night would mean, not just for their campaigns, but for the future of the country. As the debate began, it wasn't just the two of them standing at those podiums. It was America itself, divided, passionate, caught in a tug-of-war over identity, power, and progress. Trump leaned into his microphone first. The familiar cadence of his voice washing over the audience like a sudden wave. The radical left has had their time, he said, his voice booming through the room. And they've taken this country in a direction no one recognizes anymore. Crime is up, borders are wide open, and they're trying to tear down everything that made America great. Harris, waiting for her moment, allowed his words to hang in the air before stepping in. The America I know, she said firmly, is not defined by fear or division. We've faced unprecedented challenges these last few years, pandemics, global unrest, but we are resilient. And what we need now isn't the politics of the past. We need leadership that will lift people up, not tear them down. The exchange ignited something in the room. Spectators leaned forward in their seats, eyes darting between the two. This was more than a debate. It was a battle for the soul of the nation. And everyone could feel it. Outside the debate hall, America watched. In living rooms, bars, and cafes across the country, people gathered around televisions and phones, anxiously watching the faces of two candidates who embodied vastly different futures. Some saw Trump as a return to strength, a leader who would stand firm against a chaotic world. Others saw Harris as the symbol of change and progress, a leader ready to guide the country forward into the unknown. The stage was set, and as the debate raged on, it became clear this election would not be like any other. The real fight was just beginning,